Hello everyone, my name is Maria Gulczynska and I've created this little tutorial about my book Reality in Translation because many readers have been asking me the same questions. So here you go, a reader's guide in the form of frequently asked questions. I am asking myself, I've been asked these questions. The first one is about the title, the second about the names of the characters, and the third about the language and references used in the book. The first question is, why have you chosen this title in particular? The title of a book or any sort of artistic presentation, be it a song or a picture, to me plays the crucial role in the creative process as such. Hence, it took me a great deal of time and thought to come up with the title that would express what I mean by having written, which you will find inside this drama. Reality in Translation does not only convey the fact that the scenes are happening in an English classroom to an English teacher and the Italian learners, but also the non-linguistic struggle of the characters in question, who show the real selves through the veil of a foreign language. Or maybe they cannot escape their real selves, even though they are in a foreign, neutral context. The subtitle is basically just indicating that the four scenes and four different representatives of Italian gender identity are based on a timeline of 4 seasons, like one of my favorite pizzas called Quattro Stagioni. The second question. What about the characters and their names? Are their names casual or is there something more to it? As you can tell immediately from the very description of the characters, their names are far from casual. I have selected them carefully to express the connection between each person's name and their personality and a stereotypical way of showing their cultural and gender identity. Let's analyze them a bit closer, shall we? Fanny Szczebrzeszyn. This character is a Polish teacher of English who I have taken from my first book, Tubapland. Hence, we have a continuity of growth and evolving of identity here. I have chosen the name Fanny in the first place because it is full of contradictions, just like the person in both my dramas. Fanny is the diminutive of Francis and means one who is free or crowned in victory, depending on the country and culture you wish to interpret it from. That's the beauty of its appeal, a free queen, if you mix and match multiculturally. In the English language, it means either the buttocks, which fits naturally to Fanny, since she is being an ass sometimes, or according to taboo British slang, excuse my French, the female genitals, since she sometimes behaves the way society constructed her gender as being the weaker sex. Szczebrzeszyn is just a surname that indicates the complications in pronunciation, since it's a name of a town from a Polish tongue twister. I used it to indicate the nationality, but also the complexity of the character's identity. Greta Achai. Greta means a pearl and is of German origin. This name fits the woman in my drama perfectly. If you go on Urban Dictionary website and find her, you will understand why. I have chosen Achai as a surname here because it means an axeman. It is of Italian origin and was used to name baby boys. When you read the scene with this character in it, you will probably notice why I have chosen a male name with a sharp object of power in her case. Amadore Adamo. Amadore is the tricky one. It is of Italian origin and means a lover or a gift of love. It is also unisex, so it can be a girl's as well as a boy's name. What makes it even more interesting, this name is strongly Christian in its etymology and refers to the love of God, not to forget his creation. Adamo, used as a surname here, is no one else but the very first man. Adam in the Adam and Eve story, which I thought would sound explicit enough to describe the masculine-like side of the character. Still, it comes from the patronymic surname from an Italian region with the strong accent put on the prefix patro, as in parent or father. Where is the mother then, I ask? Davide Bamboccioni. Davide means beloved in Hebrew. According to numerology, people with this name tend to be affectionate and hence easily imposed on. Bamboccioni is a variation of one of my favorite Italian expressions. Bamboccione, plural bamboccioni, means a mama's boy, a big baby, an overgrown male baby, a bachelor in a derogative sense of the word, due to the fact that this man lives with his parents and behaves like a child. It is a cultural phenomenon in Italy. There are numerous studies about this phenomenon. I would recommend reading this article. I'm giving you here the link to it. It's fantastic. Arianna Scavo. Arianna comes from Greek and means very holy or a saint. Someone who would be conservative and dedicated to constructing their life orderly and craving solid foundations. The etymology of this name takes us also to the Old Persian word Ariana, which suggests the Aryans and leads us to the Aryan race and white power. Scavo, on the other hand, means a slave and derives from Old Sicilian scavu. The word alone also means digging or groundwork, which I found particularly spot on for the character I wanted Miss Scavo to be. There is one more name that is mentioned by one of the characters. It is Luca, which derives from the Latin word for light. It might come from another Latin word for sacred wood, which I find quite paradoxical and again spot on when you imagine who this Luca is supposed to be for the other character in my play. The third question: what about the language used and references given in the book? Can you help us out with the interpretation a bit? Sure. The language itself, the lexis and the expressions used here have all been carefully chosen and analyzed to give you not only fun, but also deeper meaning to everything that happens and is said in the scenes. I experimented with social linguistics here and used phrases and situations that I have mostly encountered in my own teaching. Therefore, I am interpreting the characters and their gender identity through the looking glass of personal experience within Italian culture. Having said that, I researched certain things to fit the picture, of course. There are some instances when the phrases are actually things borrowed from sources and could fit the schema. I'll give you a couple examples at random, but will not give any spoilers away, so you can find them in the book while reading and connect dots yourself. Ape. I absolutely adore the Italian slang expression for a happy hour or aperitif because it is not only the abbreviation of aperitivo, but it also means bee. I researched the word bee and beekeeper as an occupation, and it so fits the picture. It is incredible. Did you know that beekeepers use smoke to calm bees when they are taking their honey? Sort of like men when on a date trying to use sweet words and cocktails. With a word. Can you be any more male-oriented? To get what they want. Bees make honey to produce food for the young to survive winter. Sort of like what dating leads to. Reproduction and building a family in its very basic interpretation, of course. NBC. When Greta and Fanny are talking about bloodthirsty corporations, I am referring to the song by Anti-Flag entitled No Bloodthirsty Corporations. Dates of birth. The dates of birth mentioned in the book are of no coincidence. I have chosen Fanny's date of birth to indicate Independence Day in Poland, the 11th of November, and year 1980 as the bridge between grunge movement and the Berlin Wall demolition. Arianna's date of birth is symbolic too, since it indicates women's suffrage being granted for the first time on the 1st of February 1945 in Italy, of course, and the year 1984 to indicate the age difference of an entire secondary school, including A-levels, 4 years, as it used to be in the Polish educational system. Cappuccino, the world's favorite cup of coffee, takes its name from friars, the Capuchin friars to be exact, and the color of their robe. Students tend to translate everything in case there is an equivalent of a word in a foreign language, which leads to funny consequences at times. What happens to Baby Jane? In one scene I am referring to a psychological thriller horror film entitled What Happened to Baby Jane from 1962. It is a Hollywood classic about an old former actress and her sister and about exercising control over another person. I hoped to use it as a sort of parable with the situation Davide is in with his mother. Narcissus and a daffodil. I use a flower by its original name, Narcissus, pun intended, instead of a daffodil, which is its more common name, to make a point. That's it. I do hope you will enjoy reading this drama as much as I enjoyed researching the topics and writing it. Thank you.